All right, let's talk about images in our designs, how we add them, how we edit them, how we put them in frames. Um, when you have your canvas open, you'll want to come over here to the toolbar and you'll go ahead and click into elements. When you scroll down here in elements, you're going to see frames and grids. Frames are literally just a placeholder for an image. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that and you'll see that I have lots of options for the way I want my images to look once I've pulled them into my design. Everything from all of these fun shapes to letters, numbers, literally just shapes. You can even have things like these screens that will look like you are putting images inside of a device and so on and so forth. I went on a vacation to Washington, D.C. a couple of years ago, and so I'm going to use this cell phone right here because I took a lot of my pictures on my phone that vacation. It was easier than lugging around my big camera. All right, so now you can see that I have a frame over here and it's got an empty space, a placeholder for an image. This is the same thing. You can see that the Polaroid was here and I've already filled it. And this one is just a basic round shape. You can just come over to your uploads and you can select an image and it'll just put the image into your design and you can resize it just like you can anything else. From the corners is where you resize the entire thing and you maintain the proportions and you keep the entire image. But if you use these side widgets, what they're going to do is basically crop. Okay, so if I want George Washington to be a square instead of a rectangle, there we go. And if I wanted to zoom in at all, I can double click this image and it allows me to move my image around, and you can also further crop or change the shape of your crop from there. When you have finished editing your crop and your placement of your image, you can just click out of that and it'll save it for you. One thing that I'm going to do, like let's say I want to add an image to this frame, I'm going to grab the picture and just drag it over and hover over the frame and it'll drop it in there. It kind of sucks it in, and you can double click to resize and move it around, reframe it, and then just click out of it. Another option that you have with frames is to add borders. So I'm going to select this line up here, and right now you can see that I don't have a border around it, but this stroke right here, you can add a stroke and you can change the weight of the stroke. You can even change the color. And if you didn't know what color you wanted, anytime that you have images, it's going to give you all of the color palette of the 5 most dominant colors from that image. So you can select from here to keep your document cohesive and consistent in color. I'll just grab that. All right, so once you have your images in there, what if you wanted to edit them? For example, what if I wanted to make this one a black and white image? So I'll double click my image. Oops, not double click it, just kidding. I'll select my frame that has the image, and you can come up here to edit. And it's going to give you the ability to edit those images. So, for example, all of these filters, this is just like on, Instagram. You can filter your image. If I wanted it to be black and white, you're just going to come in here and find, eventually, somewhere, come on, you've got this. There we go. I'm going to make it like a newspaper. And it's going to edit the image within that frame to make it black and white. You can do the same thing with the other images in your design as well. Let's say that I just wanted old George here by himself and I didn't want the background. You can use the background remover, which there's a shortcut up here on the properties toolbar. You can just click that background remover with your educator account and it's going to remove the background for you. There is another way that we can use images, and that is by creating a background with the image. Let's say I wanted this picture of Arlington to be my background. I can just drag it over here onto my canvas, and then I can right click it and say set image as background. When I do that, you might notice that sometimes our images aren't in high enough contrast with a background image, so you kind of have to be careful about that using an image as your background. Like if I were going to put text on this, I would probably want my text box to be a solid color or to be a pretty transparent box so that it sets it up off of this, because this is a lot of stuff going on. But when I have it selected, I could also opt to lower the transparency of my background so that it doesn't have such a low contrast with all of my other images. It still sets the tone for the document, but it's not like overpowering and in conflict with all of these things. All right, I think that's just about everything that you can do with images in Canva. I hope that helped you to create beautiful designs.